Okay, so the affirmative side was saying how like the kids' claim was that tuition-free community college is necessary because the cost of education is unbearable. But if it was unbearable, that would mean like enrollment rates would begin to drop. And according to the publicagenda.org, they were stating how work is the top reason why students drop out of school. It was 36% of who dropped out of school. It was because they were working and that became their priority. And they stated that if they were able to get a grant that paid for their education, it would still be hard for them to go back. And twice as many stated that they need to work full time because of family commitments. So even if their education was paid for, they still had other commitments. And like she stated too, tuition for community college is way cheaper than a four-year university. So in like comparison to a financial burden, community college is not that much of a burden. And there's also government programs put in place that circumvent this financial burden. There's programs at Cal Poly like EOP and RAM. And if you're going to a community college, there's the BOG waiver, which is, it was formerly called the BOG waiver, Board of Governors fee waiver, but now it's called the California College Promise, and that's for eligible California residents for the community college, and it basically pays for enrollment fees, not for books or any other assistance. And so my opponent also like exaggerated that cost and burden, and when it came to tuition, it's not so much that that's the issue as other things that along with tuition. So there's parking, rent, food, car expenses, books and supplies. And when I was doing my research online, Cal Poly's website, they made an estimate of what that would be around, and that's around $17,192. And the average cost, according to U.S. News, this is from 2013-2014, the average cost of community college, that was $3,260. So 17,000 compared to 3,000, 17,000 obviously outweighs that. So when the reason two students dropping out would be the other expenses along with tuition, not just tuition alone. And applying to navigate around paying that full amount, there's programs put in place, like there's payment plans that students can choose to do, and basically they can pay, some colleges have them pay 50% of tuition, and then they can pay the rest like month to month, or they could set up payment plans, which some colleges allow it to be like monthly payments. And along with financial aid, so like the FAFSA, for us it just closed, well for everyone it just closed March 2nd. So that allows you to apply for state and federal money, so like grants and Pell Grant and yeah, Cal Grant and stuff like that. And as for workability, the free tuition will like fail to eliminate debt. Like I said before, debt comes from other expenses, not just tuition. And altogether, the outside expenses is more than tuition. And some disadvantages to the claim is that free tuition will increase taxes. So in San Francisco now, they actually have free college tuition for their community colleges, and they the source of the funding has to come from taxpayers. So it's estimated about $44 million per year that will cost taxpayers, and that was passed with Proposition W. And also like a real estate transfer tax levied on property selling for at least $5 million. So that will affect property owners as well. And also the quality of education will be affected. So because of that, since we're all college students, we all know that when it comes to college, you get a better education that's intimate. Like even with Professor Kirkman, like he knows most of the students' names, and he can, when he's speaking to us, but when the enrollment increases and there's more students in the class, the education's not what it's worth. If it will be free, it will be worth that. But and then on the community college level, they don't get enough funding as a state college or private college. So they wouldn't have enough, basically funding and supplies to accommodate the influx of students. Also the associate's degree will be devalued, being that it's free and more students wouldn't aspire to such. Just it'll seem like an extended high school, and that you wouldn't really have to go to as optional. Thus, it would make bachelor's degrees and graduate degrees more desirable by employers, and that and being that if community college was free, it would harm private schools fiscally. Yeah. Okay, and then with community colleges today, it's hard for them to keep up with the new emerging technology. So basically let's say in the library or a public place, they would need more funding to accommodate all the students, and yeah, it also makes students too dependent on government assistance. So instead of going out and working, they'll be so used to getting money by the government and being taken care of by the government, they wouldn't really aspire to go out on their own and go get it. So yeah.